As you can see, we have a clear, lovely morning here, Grand Canyon style. And on our plate, first thing, Hance Rapid. Out here, still big waves. We're moving forward. Dude, I think we cleaned it though. Hance Rapid, just like that. First thing in the morning, what a way to start the day. All right, well, here we are on Tuesday morning, and we've decided to have a layover here at the Parashant camp. It's a slow morning, and everybody's just chilling. We had some burritos for breakfast, and now we've got the Grand Canyon Book Club going on. Everybody's gathered in the shade, reading Edward Abbey. Now, while there's plenty of time for reading today, most of our time here spent eating fabulous meals, enjoying epic scenery, leaping into crystal clear pools from high atop waterfalls, hiking to scenic destinations, and of course, running the raging rapids that we find deep here in the walls of the Grand Canyon. All right, so as we move downstream past Hance Rapid, the canyon starts to tighten up again. I know back there when we just went through the area with the Umkar trading basin and all that, it was really wide, really hot day in my opinion. That is probably the hottest section of the Grand Canyon until you reach, say, Separation Canyon and below Diamond, where it gets just hot and you're in that miserable heat down there. But we do get some respite from that as we enter these tight canyon walls, moving toward Phantom Ranch downstream. That's going to be our next stop. We're going to go up, have some lemonade, send some postcards to our loved ones, and all you homies out there in the hood. But before we do that, we've got a few miles to put in, clocking down about 8 more miles before we get to Phantom Ranch on down canyon. Woo! Yeah, Sockdolliger Rapid right in the middle of this thing. The gorge just tightens up right in here and gets a lot more exciting. It just gives so much less room for that water to move, so it has to move that much faster with the force of gravity on it. Nice, the old Sockdolliger right there. For all the kids up top. And the fun just continues as we move downstream. All right, heading into Grapevine Rapid right here. This one looks a little spooky too. Some big rocks. Wow, we came across a big rock right there, that's for sure.
Hey, that worked.
That did work. That worked well.
It's not stupid if it works.
It's not stupid if it works. Yeah, man, this is a fun rapid. Look at that. Just waves crashing all about. Turbulent water. Confused water, if you will. Yeah, dude. Yeah, today a big day out here. We've got this all day long, so stay in your seat, and you don't want to go anywhere. You don't want to miss a minute of this. So got today in the inner gorge here, down here where the water's tight, the wall's very narrow. This passage contains all the water that we had up above where it was much, much wider. And as that water enters these tight canyon corridors, it's forced to compress, it's forced to rise, and it becomes more turbulent, it becomes more violent. And then with rockfall that falls into the river, giving this an extra little hint of danger as we move downstream, because those rocks create those cascades that the water just flows right over and creates these beautiful white-capped waves that we make our way through in the rapids. And there's a lot of those on the run today. Wow! Woo! Kring Rapid right there, friends. All right, kids, this is Granite Rapid. It's an 8. On our list here, Hermit Rapid. This is another one of the sketchy rapids out here in the Grand Canyon. That's an exciting set of waves right there, no doubt about that. We crushed it last year, crushed it again this year. That 5th wave and that 10th wave can definitely flip an 18-foot raft. This was probably my favorite run last year. We just got blasted in this thing. The 5th wave and the 10th wave were massive. That incredible 10th wave coated Johnny Zion in the back of the boat. All right, here it is on the morning of departure, just getting ready to drop the boat in the water. As I said, it's gonna be a completely different trip with this 37-foot moto rig as compared to a 16-foot raft. This thing is a monster, and it looks like there's a lot of space on there to pack away everything you're gonna bring. But it turns out that space disappears quick with a 10-foot beam on this boat. Not very wide, look at that. All right, here, the rig and the boat. Throw it in the water. And our captain, Bryan Gillespie from Jordan River Boat Works. What's up, Brian?
Good morning.
Looking good, dude. We got her all packed in. And get ready to throw this big air balloon on the water. All right, gang, so the logistical planning involved with putting together one of these Grand Canyon trips is absolutely incredible. You have to have all of your gear laid out. You have to have all of your gear planned for however many days you're going to be on the river. Our trip, we're going to be on the river for 14 days. Some of these other trips are going to be on the road for 8 days, maybe 14, maybe even up to 21 days on the river. You can tell that there's a lot of gear involved in this. You've got to have it laid out, because once you depart Lee's Ferry and head downstream, you're not getting anything else on the way. So have all your stuff laid out and do that well before you leave home, because there's not much here at Lee's Ferry. This crew and myself are getting ready to head down the river. There's Rachel, the rest of the crew back there, getting ready to set sail down the Grand Canyon with Captain Bryan Gillespie from Jordan River Boat Works. It's going to be a great trip. We've got 2 weeks on the water. Let's get going down the canyon, yeah? All right, and just like that, we have the crew set, departing Lee's Ferry not to see civilization for another 14 days. All right, we are on the moto rig heading down canyon. We're about 3 miles down right now, 3.5 miles. We're headed into Cathedral Wash. If you remember this one, I got soaked right here last year, but something tells me it's gonna be a little more mellow this year. Yeah, dude.
Is the Park Junkie webpage a fan of two-stroke?
There you go, y'all. Look at all of this gear. This is absolutely ridiculous. Now ahead of us here, the Navajo Bridges. This is the surefire sign that we're leaving civilization. This is the last sign of civilization we'll see for 14 days. There we go. All right, friends, 2 canyons meet the Colorado right here at Badger Creek Rapid. It's a 5 on the charts. You can see right there the other side. And we're gonna attack the rapid right now. Nice. Cruising through, look at that, Badger Creek, meaning business today. Yeah, baby. Woo! And the mermaid up front was dancing on that one. All right, well, everybody got a little wet on that one. That was a bouncy ride through Badger Creek Rapid. It's a number 5, so it gets a lot worse than that in the Grand Canyon. That's a good warm-up, day 1. But we're about to catch up with a private trip down here. I believe this is our boy Adam. And his crew just out on a little private run through the Grand Canyon. What a dream, huh? Oh, yeah, more fun ahead. Soap Creek Rapid. There we go. The crew is pumped for this. It's a 5 with a 17-foot drop. It's a long run out rapid, you can see. Here we're gonna punch it. Yeah, dude. Nice, Brian. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, a lot of fun on Soap Creek there. Kind of a long run-out rapid back there. Had a few good punches through there. You could tell the water was flying, and my friends up front, they're a bit wet. Such a cool little section. Look at how cool these rocks are here to the right. Just the river has carved this little tongue right underneath the rocks as we flow downstream here. Down at this, you can see a field of white waves. That means this is a serious rapid, and indeed it is. It's a 7 on the Grand Canyon scale, and we're heading into it right now. We're going to try to make camp just below it at the House Rock Rapid Camp, which is on River Runner's right. That's our camp right there. House Rock big, right? Yeah, no doubt about that. We're gonna try to get into shore here.
All right, well that was House Rock Rapid right here. What a rush. Talk about a hole. Man, you get sucked into this hole right here. Things might not go all that well, but that was an exciting run. Bryan cut us right out of that hole just before we hit that thing with a quick hold on, and we zipped right down just to the right of that massive hole. This thing is mean and it means business. Absolutely. Look at that. We're camped right here at the House Rock Rapid camp, and we just pulled in. We can do this with a powered motorboat, but you might not be able to access this camp so easily with the rowboat, with a raft. So a really cool little spot to camp tonight. I'm sure tomorrow morning we'll get to watch some carnage as some groups come down through here on House Rock Rapid bright and early tomorrow morning. It's a 7 here in the Grand Canyon. It's a mean drop, no doubt about that. And you can see once again, just to zoom in on that hole right here. Wow, what a powerhouse. All right, gang, well, good morning here from the House Rock Rapid camp. We had a bit of a problem here last night. Of course, they're releasing different flow rates from the dam upstream at Lake Powell, the Grand Canyon Dam. And our boat got tossed around last night while Bryan and I were sleeping on it. And the entire port side of the boat was shoved up onto the beach during that high tide. And you can see how far the tides came up last night. And then, of course, as they release less water, the tide goes out. So there actually are tides when they're releasing that dam water from Glen Canyon Dam. And it can really screw you out here and beat your boat. And a boat of this size, it's a real challenge. We had to unload these coolers, which are several hundred pounds each. And I'm going to show you the divot in the sand. This is where our port side hull was sitting right here in this little ditch. The boys and I went ahead and just pushed this thing out. I should have had some footage of that. Sorry I didn't, but we're going to have to continue to push a little bit to get it out. But boy, it can leave you stranded here because the tide's still going out. So we can be stuck here all day. Got up at 4:45, noticed the boat wasn't rocking the way it should, and we just started pushing on this thing. And here's where we have it now. These boys are going to give it a push, get the bow out into the water, and then we're going to go ahead and push from the stern and get it out into the water. You can see it takes a bit of manpower to put this boat out there. And we're going to continue this job. Pretty stressful morning thus far. Coffee or no coffee. Woo! That's a big success right there, boys. A big success. All right, so that is a beautiful sight to have the boat back out in the water where it should be. You can see how far up it was. Beached whale. All right, we are on the water, day 2 of the journey, leaving the old House Rock Rapid way back there. And just like that, we're rolling up on another rapid. This is North Canyon Rapid, and this is a 5. Right down the tongue, there we go, surfing it. Approaching 21-mile rapid here. Roaring 20s. Roaring 20s just brings it. There's all kinds of good stuff in here, and that's why we call it the Roaring 20s. It's a fun little run here. 21-mile rapid of 5 with a 12-foot drop. We're coming right in on the tongue right about now. Dropped Georgie back there.
Georgie, she sneak up, bite you.
Yeah, that was Georgie right there. I missed that on the old film, but quite a drop. Didn't even see it coming.
caught me tripping back here, staring at the GPS. Next thing you know, right through a rapid. Georgie, well, at least we didn't get dump truck, Johnny. How about that? Yeah, we're coming into 24.5-mile rapid. This is actually a 6 on the map. We've got some tricky rocks to navigate there to the left, as you see. Now we're gonna come into this zone. Straight into the beast, right into the heart of the beast. Yeah, dude. Woohoo! Oh man, just got soaked in 24.5-mile rapid. At least the sun's out. Brr. Go rolling the tongue right into the Hance Richards Rapid. This is a 6 actually. Not much of a challenge on this big one though, on this big raft. Blasting right through it. Oh yeah. Get busy. Got a little pour over right in the middle here, so you got to really be heads up on that one. You don't want to come into this the wrong way with a moto rig. You want to hit this pour over just right, and it looks like Brian's gonna nail it. As you can see right there, look at that evil thing. And over there, another rock that we had to avoid. That's a tricky little section there. Right here we had to pull the motor. Ooh, nice work, Brian, nice work. Wow, that's what you got to do right there when you have that rock in the middle. Yeah, so a rocky little exit back there from Cave Spring Rapid. Had to definitely throw up the motor there. Brian was quick on the scene, seeing a rock coming that couldn't be avoided. Toss that engine up to avoid just ripping the prop right off this boat, right off the engine. So, yeah, nice work, Captain.
I mean, could have been better.
Could have been better, but hey, pass, fail. That's the way it works down here, usually. Pass, fail. Into a little rapid here. I think this is the 29-mile. Straightforward. Don't get too close to the wall on the right. This one flows pretty well. You can see this water just flows fast down through these areas. Here we're making our way down at mile 30.5, Fence Fault Rapid. Fairly straightforward. I guess there's some strong eddies out here in the tail waves of this one. You can see you got a little bit of action over there to the right. And then of course there looks like a drop here. Alright, now ahead of us here, this is the South Canyon. There's a camp here, South Canyon Camp. That's where we camped last year. It was pretty stellar. I hiked up and camped in these rocks up in here. Another thing at this point, you can hike up into these caves. Those are the caves we hiked up into last year. Hunter and Johnny Zine and I went up there for a sunset. And you can crawl back into it because it's not technically a cave. It's a passage, a tunnel, which goes through to these little ledges up on South Canyon. There you go, looking up into South Canyon. You can see up into those tunnels right there. As we snake our way down into the waters below. And And there we get a view of Vasey's Paradise right there. Towering waterfall, it's just absolutely beautiful. There it is, Vasey's Paradise, named by old John Wesley Powell, 1869, in honor of his friend, a botanist by the name of George W. Vasey. All right, just topped off the old Camelback here at Vasey's Paradise. That's gonna be my water supply for the day. So I made a little error last night and I left my backpack in the captain's quarters, laying on top of the gasoline tank. That's not the thing to do. This morning, all my water tasted like gasoline. So I spat that out, and we're running with water 2.0 from that waterfall right there. Now, the guides and the Park Service recommend that you filter your water coming out of Vasey's. And right in front of us, friends, that is Redwall Cavern. It's about a half mile down from Vasey's Paradise. We've got a beautiful afternoon here. Well, it's still morning technically, but the sun is shining. We are pulling into Redwall Cavern for some fine dining. You see what I did there? All right, looking into Redwall Cavern here. Crews always stop here for lunch. We usually pull in here, that's for sure, even though Vasey's Paradise is right up here around the corner, and then South Camp, which we stayed at last year, is just up canyon. It is a mandatory stop here at Redwall Cavern. Go in and play a little frisbee, play a little football, whatever you got. Today we buried the frisbee in the bottom of the boat. Oops, but we did bring out the football. These boys are gonna go over and toss the ball around, and I'm gonna go over and show them my Tom Brady impression. Woo! Oh, and after a nice game, Todd Brady always enjoys a good swim in Colorado. Our next stop going to be Nautiloid Canyon for a little inspection of some fossilized remains that are embedded within the rocks. All right, we're making our way up into Nautiloid Canyon right now. This is a stop here at about mile, I believe it's mile 33, 34-ish, and some fossils in the rocks up here. This is a little slippery here. I tried to stay as far to your right as possible. I can take your water if you want. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit dicey. Nice work.
You got a good hand if you need it.
Thank you. Nice work, boys. Right here we've got a fossil. As you look down right here, William's gonna pour some water on it. And that's how you wanna, oh, look at that guy come to life, huh? That's fossil. Yeah, a Nautilus fossil. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, another one, massive. A lot of this is covered up this year. I mean, some of this debris covers these up. Yeah. Nautiloid. Some nice little camps here at Nautiloid. Right there, the canyon. And then down here, your own private beach, which is pretty nice. As you can see, the water's a gorgeous color here in June on the Colorado. And there are beautiful barge that ushereth downstream through this grand canyon. The grandest canyon on the planet. Yeah, look at it. Excellent work, everyone. on down canyon we run, head toward lower camp. Did a scouting mission, Brian and I. We just left high camp and we hiked down all the way, talked to these guys at Hatch, and then went down to lower camp, make sure that was open. It's wide open, and Grand Canyon river sites are first come, first served. You can't use rec.gov to get these sites. You have to come and be the first one there. What a novel idea. Downstream we go. Driving a sand stake down here, Rob, working it, slamming it in. As you can see, this is some hard sand. Should provide a good anchor for this bow line as we stake off the boat here at Nankoweap. Yeah, looks good. All right, well, buenos dias. It is a nice morning, probably about, well, it's right at 6 a.m. and it's broad daylight, sun already hitting the cliffs as I stroll up the trail here to the Nankoweap Granary ruins. I love this spot, one of my favorite campsites in the Grand Canyon, and you can see why. The views out here are absolutely splendid, and this is my favorite time of the day in the Grand Canyon during the summer months. I got up this morning about 4:45. We had a big morning yesterday at 4:45. So today, I just chose to lay around for a bit. And now I'm kind of regretting that, because you can see the sunlight is probably going to hit me up here at the granaries, which is, of course, going to warm things up quite a bit. But by that point, I should be on my way back down the trail. So, this is the morning stroll to the granaries to get a little cardio and to say hi to the ancients who used to work here in this area of the Grand Canyon. On up the trail we go. Trail's really nice going up there. Right there, looks like we'll have it all to ourselves this morning. All right, and just like that, here we are up in the granary zone. You can only really access one of them. We're going to this one right here that has the famous windows. And man, I was blown away the first time I ever saw a photograph of this spot. And I always wanted to come here. But it's really difficult to access these ruins unless you're on a boat trip. So last year being my first trip down the Grand on a boat, I was able to access these, and then this year being back, definitely wanted to come up here again this morning and just spend some time here as the daylight comes upon us. So here we are, round 2 with the granary ruins, and yeah, you see the windows right there, huh? Yeah, these ruins, ancestral Puebloans used these things 1,000 years ago or so, and they would store their foodstuffs in these grains and whatnot. Probably stored all kinds of things in here, pelts from game, maybe even meat, I don't know. But here they are, the granary ruins, and you can see the view from these ruins is probably about as spectacular as you can get, even at 6:20 in the morning. Yeah, that's gorgeous, huh? And then here the trail, you can see just leading right down there. And of course you can see our camp way off here, and that, the ruins. You can see just mud and rock, simple form. And they took this little cliff here and just built these little food stores in there. Yeah. But it's just dried mud. I mean, look at that, right?
And then doesn't look like they did much for a header across the openings. Well, on this one anyway, unless the rock busted. That's possible. The next one over, the rest of them seem to have headers, so it seems they understood the concept of the header above the opening. This one probably just broke, and it looks like it may have been repaired. And that's partially what the stick was doing there, perhaps. All right, well, with the day ahead, I better get back down to camp, get some coffee and some breakfast, start packing up. That's the thing about river trips. You're packing and unpacking every day that you're on the river. That's why you really enjoy a layover day from time to time, because then, well, you don't have to pack anything up because you're staying there all day. That's not our case today. Look, airplane. Somebody flying over, maybe it's one of those scenic flights. I don't know about those, but I know we've got the scenic hikes and we've got the scenic river trip flights. Whatever. Can't beat this. All right, moving on downstream from Nankoweap. The first thing we encounter today is the Quagunt Rapid. It is a 5 on the scale with a 12-foot drop. Yeah, all right. This big boat bouncing right through with the umbrella. Didn't even pull the drag bag. Fun little rapid right there, old Quagunt. All right, moving southbound, and right in front of us, this is the confluence of the Little Colorado and the Colorado. Little Colorado coming in from the left. Look at the color of that water, absolutely phenomenal. We're pulling in. We're gonna take this boat and beach it right here. We're gonna go play in that water. All right, coming forward, coming by you, coming by you. Okay. All right, look at the Little Colorado River today. I got better hang on to the phone though, you know. All right, look at the Little Colorado today, the LCR. Woohoo. Yuck. Doesn't taste as good as it looks. Head straight into this rock. There we go. Yeah, this is the way it's done in the LCR. That was nice, dude. Floating downstream. I don't know what's gonna happen here. Bit of a pour over. LCR's not bad today, huh? Yeah. Sure beats last year's Mudfest. Alright, what a dream, huh? Look at this place, it's not even real. But indeed it is. Last year, a mud fest down here, as all those spring runoff from the higher elevations, bringing down all the silt from the sandstone and the mud above. This year in June, we have clear waters, and man, what a joy it is.
to be out here playing in this water here in the Grand Canyon. Oh boy, right here, the water temperature just warm on the left side and cold on the right side. You can feel that it's such a sensation with the water flowing below me is cold and the water up by my waist is warm. What a trip. On down we go. Oh man, it is brutal in this section, just down from the LCR toward Unkar Camp and then heading down toward Hance Rapid. This section right through here, probably, in my mind, it's the hottest in the upper canyon because there's no walls anywhere around to provide you some shade. We're moving downriver toward, as you can see back here, that's the Desert Watchtower from the South Rim, so there's a gaggle of tourists up there watching us right now. So angle into this and then get it pushed over. All right, running into Tuna Rapid. This is a 12-foot drop on it. Doesn't look too mean, but it has some bite. Look at that. Here we go. Could get wet up there front. Nice. Yeah, dude. Ryan navigating right out of Tuna Rapid. You can see back there. I think we got a little bit of bite to it. All right, continuing on down from Tuna Rapid, we come up on Basalt Rapid pretty quick. This is another 6, so a little bouncy on these things. You never want to underestimate these because it's these lower numbers that seem to give people a little bit of complication from time to time when you just cruise in, read and run. Oops. Yeah, it goes like that sometimes. Out the day, we're heading into camp downstream at probably at Neville. We're going to go down to one of the 3 camps that are at Neville, but before we do, we have one more rapid to run today. That is the Unkar Rapid, level 6 with a 20-foot drop. Significant drop. We're going to drop into it right now so you can check it out. Yeah, umbrella and all, friends, umbrella and all. What do you think, right down the middle? Yeah. Ryan scoped it out, said right down the middle, and I tend to agree. It looks like that tongue. Yeah, that tongue leads right into the shit. Let's go. Back down into the canyon. All right, nearing the end of the day, getting ready to head into camp. We've got Upper Neville's camp right to our left, but we're gonna go ahead and run this rapid. There's 4 camps below that we can take for the night. So we're gonna roll the dice, shoot through the rapid, and see what camps present themselves below that for our overnight stay tonight. Nevills Rapid, this is a 6, friends. 16-foot drop. Excitement abounds. Look at that. got some cast up on the side. Oh! A little cool down for you, Mark Junkie. All right, and we have decided to camp here at the, I believe this is the lower Nevill, because you got upper Nevill, Nevill, and lower. What do you think, Keith? Is this going to work out?
I think it's looking good.
I think it looks good. Yeah, we like this. Rachel approves, yeah? That's right. Yeah, it's a nice level beach here, and it's in the shade, which is key after a hot day on the boat.
Cool.
All right, well, it is the morning of day 4 here, I think. Yeah, day 4. And we're headed into the little scout zone here for the Hance Rapid. Now, this rapid means business. It is probably the scariest rapid in the Grand Canyon, really. A lot of people would say that. Last year when we did it, we just bounced right through. We were running at 20,000 CFS. And maybe 22 by this point in the river, but we were just rolling through these roller coasters. However, it is a legit, serious business rapid, and we're going up here to scout it out right now this morning. It's a rocky mess out there this morning. Yeah, what do you think, Keith? You ready for this one?
Man, I don't know if it's better to know what I'm getting into or better to wait and find out. Our goal is not hit that hole. That's a fucking huge fish.
Yeah, right there.
And this one or that one? That one down there.
Yeah.
There's a rock right there.
Big hole. We've got a rocky mess out here in Hance at this level, water level running between 7 and 10, fluctuating on what they release from the dam. But yeah, as you can see, there's a debris field out here. Boulders strewn throughout Hance Rapid. Not such a big deal. You definitely don't want to hit them in a rowing raft. But on a motor rig, you definitely don't want any part of that. And if you have to pull your motor out, well, that means you've got no real control over the boat. So it is a landmine, field of landmines out here at Hance this morning. All right, backing out into the river from Hance Camp. As you can see, we have a clear, lovely morning here, Grand Canyon style. And on our plate, first thing, Hance Rapid. Yeah, crazy, man. Big rapid. Wow, that was close to that rock. Still big waves down here. Still big waves. We're moving forward. Look at this one. I think we cleaned it though. Hance Rapid, just like that. First thing in the morning, what a way to start the day.
Best line I've ever had on hands. That was sick, dude. Best line I've ever had on hands.
Woo, what a rush, huh? What do you think, Rob? Was that all right?
That was awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Nice job, bro. Thanks.
Woo! All right, so as we move downstream past Hance Rapid, the canyon starts to tighten up again. I know back there when we just went through the area with the Umkar trading basin and all that, it was really wide. Really hot day, in my opinion. That is probably the hottest section of the Grand Canyon until you reach, say, Separation Canyon and below Diamond, where it gets just hot. You're in that miserable heat down there. But we do get some respite from that as we enter these tight canyon walls, moving toward Phantom Ranch downstream. That's going to be our next stop. We're going to go up, have some lemonades and some postcards to our loved ones, and then all you homies out there in the hood. But before we do that, we've got a few miles to put in, clocking down about 8 more miles before we get to Phantom Ranch on down Canyon. Woo! Yeah, Sockdolager Rapid right in the middle of this thing. The gorge just tightens up right in here, and it gets a lot more exciting. It just gives so much less room for that water to move, so it has to move that much faster with the force of gravity on it. Nice, the old Sockdolager right there for all the kids up top. And the fun just continues as we move downstream. All right, heading into Grapevine Rapid right here. This one looks a little spooky too. Some big rocks. Wow, we came across a big rock right there, that's for sure.
Hey, that worked.
That did work. That worked well.
It's not stupid if it works.
It's not stupid if it works. Yeah, man, this is a fun rapid. Look at that. Just waves crashing all about. Turbulent water. Confused water, if you will. Yeah, dude. All right, and the next rapid we're running into here in the canyon today is Zoroaster Rapid. And this is a 5. It only has like a 7-foot drop. Read and run. Let's go. Woo-hoo. Next up, 85-mile rapid. That's what this is. It's rated a 3. And you can see, not that sketchy. There's a roller right there to the left. We're gonna miss that. All right, here we are coming up on Boat Beach right here. The first of the 2 bridges we'll pass as we come into Phantom Ranch down here. Now, Phantom Ranch, the corridor by which hikers are gonna go from the north rim to the south rim or vice versa. There's 2 trails off the south rim, the South Kaibab and the Bright Angel, and into the north Kaibab Trail leading you up to the North Rim Lodge up there. Stellar hike all the way through. It's a little over a 20-mile hike either way you go on that. I've got a video here on the channel that I'll link above. You can check that hike out when you're coming down here because that is an epic journey that you're going to want to do. However, I wouldn't be doing it in the summer. I wouldn't be doing it in June, July, or August. I'd be saving that one. I think I did that in October, I believe it was, maybe even September, but later in the year where it's cooler. We got some boats on Boat Beach up here. We're gonna put this boat right on the beach, and we're gonna go get some water. All right, well, we've got the boat set in here at Boat Beach. This is exactly what it is, a beach for boats. Got my stuff stowed, tied off, and here's the wheelbarrow they supply for water runs because all the boats are resupplying with water here. And this the hike up to Phantom Ranch. So yeah, down here in Phantom Ranch, they have these cabins you can rent. There's a campground right back here. Kind of a good layover point for a lot of people that are hiking rim to rim. And of course right here, it's a private residence, man. So, and then of course little cabins around scattered here that you can rent. I think you check those. I'm not even sure you can deal with that. It's probably rec.gov, have fun. I'm not staying here just because of that fact. And this is Phantom Ranch. Squirrels running about. People having Modelo's. Ooh, nice, good call. Postcards. People just chilling. And there's Captain Bryan up there getting his beverage on. Look at him. So what's our temperature down here today?
111 all day.
111 down here as we get our postcards and limonada. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, it might be 111 degrees out here, but there are ways to cool down. This right here, this is my chosen method. Just lay there in the nice shade of a cottonwood in North Kaibab Creek. Doesn't feel too bad at all, I'll tell you that. All right, back on the water after a stop here at Phantom Ranch for a good couple hours. Plenty of lemonade and shade. We ate a little lunch, and now we're getting ready, obviously, to head down river. Now, I'm not sure what sort of water line that is coming out of the sky there, but you can see they're working to get some water in or out of here. That's really a bizarre situation. Look at that piece of equipment right there. That is wild, man. All right, shooting the horns. Horn Creek Rapid. Last year we dropped right over the horns, but this year we're gunning it straight down the right side, right into the mix. That was a wicked run down the horn. Horn Creek Rapid right there, friends. Man, what a shot coming right down that thing from the right-hand side. Last year in the rafts, we just went right through. We split the horns. This year, came off to the right with this big boat, and man, what a run down the middle of that thing, huh? Woo! All right, kids, this is Granite Rapid. It's an 8 with a 17-foot drop. It means business. Here we're starting to get into these vertical columns of the Vishnu schist layer. They're vertical here, they were horizontal about 20 miles back when we were at Phantom Ranch, but that Vishnu schist layer, about 1.7 billion years old, or nearly half the age of the planet. All right, next on our list here, Hermit Rapid. This is another one of the sketchy rapids out here in the Grand Canyon. See, good times abound. That's an exciting set of waves right there, no doubt about that. We crushed it last year, crushed it again this year. That 5th wave and that 10th wave could definitely flip an 18-foot raft. This was probably my favorite run last year. We just got blasted in this thing. The 5th wave and the 10th wave were massive. That incredible 10th wave coated Johnny Zion in the back of the boat. Next on our list of highlights here, we're coming into Boucher Rapid, or Boucher, B-O-U-C-H-E-R, Boucher Rapid. It's a 4, we're rolling it. Well, it's a hot day down here, no doubt about that, but right out of Boucher Rapid there, a little cool breeze coming up canyon. Oh, you always think those are heaven sent down here, man. It's hot. Ooh. All right, well, coming up next, we have Crystal Rapid. Of course, this one of the mainstays here in the canyon. Class 8, it's a big one. And last year we camped right here at Upper Crystal, scouted it out. This year we're just running it, read and run on Crystal Rapid. Major drop in this one. There's a big hole over there on the left side. We're gonna try to avoid that. And there's some big rocking waves off to the right. So we'll see what this run looks like in a 37-foot motor rig. But last year it was real swell. I'll put a little clip in it from what it looked like on the raft last year. Here we go. Brian's taking us right into the mix here in just a moment.
Coming in on these rocks over here. That one juts out way far and it got us. We got the port side of the boat. We've still got action. Got to navigate this little mess. Get over to the left side of the river here. Up the engine a little bit, eh? And the old Havasu took a hit on that one. Ouch. Right, inspecting the damage. We took a hit back there on the port side. That was a crusher. Gosh, and right after Crystal, we're running into Tuna Creek Rapid. This is a 6 right here. We're gonna drop. There's a big rock right in the middle. We're gonna cruise right past that right now. Bouncing today. Big day on the Grand. Big day on the Grand. Probably the most exciting day of the trip right here. Hitting all these big rapids, straight out from Hance to Hermit to Crystal, you name it, we're in it. All right, continuing the day of rapids, El Día de Rapidos. I don't know if that's the word in Spanish, but we're going to drop Sapphire Rapid right now. And that's a 6 with a 7-foot drop, and we're going into it right about now. Sapphire continuing on down through the rubies here. Next one we got is Turquoise Rapid. It's only a 3, so we're coming up right around the bend here. Rolling on downriver, and I'm telling you today, these rapids just keep coming. What a day. It's probably the biggest day of rapid running I've ever had. We're hitting over 20 rapids today, and right here's Turquoise. All right, well, believe it or not, that is the wettest I've got yet on this trip, sitting back here toward the starboard side stern of the boat. I just got soaked here coming through Turquoise Rapid. And on the others, it stayed virtually dry. I don't
don't think the captain got very wet on that one, however. It's hard to get wet back here. Yeah, this rapid caught me off guard. I don't even know what it is. Over here, sipping my beer and looking at the map. Next thing I know, we're rolling into the rollers. I got my rig to flip. At least I'm rigged to flip. So our day of rapid madness continues. Ruby Rapid ahead. We're right in the middle of the gyms here. And this is a 5 with a 9-foot drop. And it's a little bit serious. You can see it looks a little rowdy out there at low water levels. So we're gonna head into it right now. And you can see what it looks like on your screens. Because that's the service we provide. Yeah.
Try to sink right out of that hole.
Okay. All right.
We're good. We're good.
Gotta wash the sand off this boat. Look at that geologic anarchy down here deep in the Grand Canyon. We're down in the rubies right now, and the Vishnu schist and the dikes running through, just gorgeous. And then this pile of rubble that you come upon. What hath God wrought? Right now coming into Serpentine Rapid here. Probably gonna be one of our last rapids of the day, and it looks a little spooky, to be honest. We've been getting jacked in these things all day, just pumped out. So let's see what happens here. With no joke, right? No joke.
Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Wow, man, that was a rager. Some of these are absolutely out of control today. These littler rapids like that, it's a 7. I mean, that's no joke, but it was absolutely no joke. Man, Brian, nice work bringing it off the wall back there. It looked like we might have went into that with the stern, because we've already done that once today, but that's enough, right? Hey, I know that dude. Your brother lives down at Upset Hotel, huh? Well, we're not at Upset. We're just out of Ross Wheeler. All right, kids. Now, I don't know how many rapids you wanted to run in a day, but that Serpentine Rapid back there where we just got worked, spun around, Brian pulled it right off the wall. That was rapid number 23 of the day. So 23 rapids today. That's a pretty big day. Here we are, the Ross Wheeler camp tonight. Big day today. 23 rapids. All right, friends, well, here we are this morning at the Ross Wheeler camp, another beached boat. Now, the first morning at House Rock Rapid, that camp, we had a beached boat that morning. We were lucky to be able to push it off, and I didn't get any of that on film because it was early. I woke up at 5:45. I was like, oh my God, we need to get this thing off the shore.
So we did. However, today we waking here at the Ross Wheeler camp. Sun's just came up, which is going to make it brutally hot. We have a boat that is beached, and the reason this happens here is because there are tides in the Grand Canyon. They're not exactly lunar tides like you might think of in the seas. These tides created, in essence, just differences in water level created by the release of water from the Grand Canyon Dam upstream. Now, when they release water from that, they have a schedule. Sometimes they release 10,000 CFS, sometimes 14,000 CFS, sometimes 7,000 CFS. And they fluctuate that throughout the day, so that creates a difference in water level downstream according to what's being let out at the dam. And you have to do these calculations about how far downstream you are and what time the water will get to you. What time, if they're releasing high water at 7 a.m. from the dam, how many hours before that water gets to you and creates a high water for your boat. That can come into play when you're putting into some rapids like Hance. We don't like to run that one at low water levels. There are some others here, but it also has an effect on your camping situation. And here we find ourselves this morning, fooled again by this tide schedule. However, fluctuating water schedule. There was a guide the other day who was very adamant in telling me that there are no tides in the Grand Canyon. All right, so no tides. Anyway, we're going to have to be persistent in pulling this boat out. So we've got our boy Brendan over here digging out a trench just beside the boat. We're going to get a crew of us and just pull this boat downstream and see if we can't get it off of this sandbar, because it's going to be a few hours before the water level rises to the point where it'll just float out on its own, and we don't really want to wait here in the baking sun that long. We want to get out on the water and cruise downstream. Man, look at that sunscreen. Got it all over me. Good boy, Todd. Good boy. All right, as you can see, slow going, moving with this come along, but we ended up, we put in a sand stake at first, tried that. It didn't hold, so we went down and anchored to these big rocks down here. They're pretty solid. They're embedded in that riverbed, so they're not going anywhere. And we're able to get a good pull on it. So we have got a few inches of movement on the boat, but we need a few feet. So we're just gonna keep cranking at it, I think. We've got about 5 feet of movement downstream on the boat. Tide is coming in, the water level is rising, but we're just taking the entire crew and heave-hoing and pushing this boat out into the rivers. Okay, on 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice. All right, well, after the fiasco with the boat, we've made our way down here to Shimunu Creek, and we're gonna hike up to a waterfall. This is just downstream from the Ross Wheeler camp. You've got the Ross Wheeler camp, you have an inscription camp back there, and then a couple of bass camps. And just past the bass camps is Shimunu Creek, so let's go check it out. All right, so this little waterfall is Shimunu Creek waterfall. It's just off the river. It's about a 2-minute hike up this little slot canyon to get to this waterfall. The sound in here, just the roar of this little waterfall, quite enchanting. Nice little stop just south of the bass camps here on the Colorado. Great little spot to just stop for a few minutes and cool off in the water. Warmer water than you have in the Colorado, but it still is refreshing in this hot desert environment. All right, you know what they say, when it's Shimunu, right? Gotta get it into Shimunu. All right, well, after a cool off here at Shimunu Creek, it's time to get back on the boat. We got miles to put in today. I think we're trying to go down to like Deer Creek today. So we got about an average day, 25 miles. Nice way to start the day, pushing the boats off the beach, or pushing the boat off the beach, and then hopping right across the river to enjoy Shimunu Falls. All right, and as we're coming out of Shimunu Creek here, after observing the Shimunu waterfall, we find it just in front of us. We have the Shimunu Rapid. It's a 4, so might be exciting. We're gonna head right down and find out.
right, as we move on down here, we've got the Walthenburg camp off to River Right, and we're entering the Walthenburg Rapid right about now. It's level 6 with a 14-foot drop. Just upstream, it's very rocky right through here. And the rapid, it looks like it could be fun. We're gonna hit it. All right, coming up on 113 Mile Rock, this jagged schist fin just sits right in the middle of the river. Yeah, these ancient Vishnu schist rocks just glisten in the summer heat down here, and they remain hot all night long. These rocks about 1.7 billion years old. Only 3 places on the planet the Vishnu schist are exposed. Here in the Grand Canyon, up in Utah as well, and over in China. Look at those things. Yeah, don't know where in China, no idea.
Have you ever seen an elf?
I have, man. I know several elves, dude. There's our first elf of the day. Watching us come in for a landing here as we motor up to the Elves Chasm. Yes, indeed. Look at that guy. All right, here we are at the Elves Chasm pull-in. We hitched up high on the river there because, as you can see, parking down here can be a bit of a complex endeavor. Here we go, hot hiking. Yes, indeed. Who is ready to cast forth before the elves? Elves Chasm. What a splash! See why it's such a spectacular place. What do you think, guys? Woo! Elves Chasm 24! A windy afternoon brings us into the 122 Mile Rapid. And it's a number 4. right, the Rapid Fest continues here in the Grand Canyon, headed down the 124-mile rapid now. Averaging a little more than a rapid a mile at this section of the canyon. After the 125-mile rapid, we come upon Fossil Rapid. It's rated 5. Yes, it's like a rapid a mile through here. They didn't really come up with any original names for these. They do have Fossil, Forester. Looks like there's also going to be Spectre coming up. That's a big one. But overall, 124, 125, 126, 127. It's 120s. You can basically count on there being a rapid there, and the name's going to be pretty easy to guess. You'll at least have a 70% chance. Yeah, it looks like a coal mine over there on the right. But we're going over here on the left to the 28-mile rapid. Excuse me, the 128-degree rapid. Mile rapid. Although it is about 128 down here today. So it feels. We're going to kick this one back. Look at that. Keep her off the wall. Hot. This is the hottest passage of the day right here as we approach this little riffle. Definitely casting a small wave from river right. And we're just going to ride the tongue right down into it and cruise on through these vicious, hot rocks deep in the Grand Canyon. Down somehow out here. Just look at these things. Isn't that magical? Just imagine how much heat these plants need to be able to withstand to grow in this environment. Ugh, brutal. Look at that little outcropping right there. And right on its point is one tough ass plant. Now I have to admit, I'm kind of fond of this great unconformity down here in the Grand Canyon. Who wants to be a conformist anyway? All right, here we go the third time into the 128-mile rapid.
Yeah, this is 128.
Yeah, all right.
128.4.
Yes. Here we
He's just right down the right.
think it's just right down the right, yeah? Right wall in it. Here we're entering a little more excitement today. Spectre Rapid. It is a 6 with a 6-foot drop. We're heading into it right now. River runners right down the tongue and riding the wall. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, don't forget to check out the scenery on your way through the Grand Canyon. It's not all just about revving motors and running rapids. There's some cool stuff down here. You might want to look around while you're here. Or not, whatever you're into. I like to look around. So does Keith. Look at him. He's looking around right now. All right, moving downstream here toward the next rapid. It's a serious business rapid. We're talking bedrock. It's a 7. You've got this big giant rock that sits right in the river, and you kind of have to run left or right of it. And we're gonna take it today. What are we doing, left or right on this thing, Brian? You got any idea yet?
Really hope we're going right.
We really hope to go right. Don't want to go wrong.
Okay, bimini down, or umbrella. If something catastrophic were to happen, hold on to the middle of the boat. So the people on the outside hold on to something towards the middle of the boat.
All right, here we're rolling into Bedrock Rapid. This big apartment complex, as Brian put it a moment ago, sitting in the middle of the river. We need to avoid that. Boats have a tendency to go in and get crushed against the wall from these waves that are running in directly on it. Well, we're gonna run it to the right today because the left looks spookier than anything. So we're gonna just try to shoot this thing to the right. It's gonna be some fancy moves back there on the tiller from Captain Bryan as we move into Bedrock Rapid. Well, we made it through the rapid. We got bounced out in this little eddy just to the right, which that's about, well, that's a good outcome, really, because we got to play around in this little eddy and we can still shoot out of here, but we didn't get smashed on that rock back there, and that's the big concern as you come through Bedrock Rapid.
It is possible to get out onto the rock right here. So that's an option.
How bad are we stuck up there?
Almost went over that.
Yeah, it seems like we've got quite... No, we're not going to go over that. That's a problem. I don't know that we can go over that.
All right, well, we're making up a plan on the fly here while we're stalled out on this rock just out of Bedrock Rapid. We're gonna take this line, I'm taking this line up top and I'm going to be pulling it. And it's gonna be attached to the bow to try to pull this bow back in and off this rock that we're ledged on out front. Rob's gonna be pushing from back here and Brian's gonna be at the helm. We're gonna try to unlodge this boat with human power rather than trying to go over there and use the come along on it to winch it across, which that's what originally popped into mind. So you gotta be thinking on your feet as you're out here in these situations, and this is the best we can do with what we've got right now. We were thinking about evacuating everyone from the boat, but this rock is slippery. I mean, this old Vishnu rock is absolutely, it's just glass. It's just glass, smooth as glass, and there's no traction on it whatsoever, especially with wet feet. So we're making moves, and we're gonna make this thing happen. We're gonna get this boat off the rock, get it out of the stall, and back on the move. We got more rapids to run today, after all.
Rob, you want to take this and send it down the line, and Brian will tie it on the front of the boat.
You got that tied off?
Yeah.
Oh, this is not a problem, but you guys are probably gonna leave me behind.
Yeah, we're gonna leave him, but we can keep moving.
Wow. There we go. Nice. That was a lot easier than I was expecting.
Rob, you good to get on?
I'm good to get on whenever you guys are. Tell me when you're
I'm on. Brian, how we looking?
clear.
Ready? I'm gonna push and jump on.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let me get this. Waves come and go. So here we go. I'm on board.
Back out of here.
Might be able to back into that too. Okay, be aware we got a live line on the boat. Which that's kind of a bump. See, we're spinning this boat around in this rapid right now, just out of bedrock. Kick it back and stay on the left side of these rocks right here that we got shammed up on last time. All right, well, the excitement never ends. That's Bedrock Rapid, man. Always a fun time. Brian pulled it out, man. That was a bit of work, eh?
It was.
Yeah, Brian's earned his cerveza today with that one. Damn, constant battle down in there. Current bouncing us about like we were a rubber ducky. All right, next we're rolling into Dubendorf Rapid. That's a number 7 as well. Yeah, Dubendorf's a 15-foot drop, and we're dropping into it right about now. Back there, a little hit to the stern. I think we got the prop on the engine. Doesn't sound like any major damage was done, but there was a good crunch when we came into that final rock and we took it to the right. We're blessed with having some Dubendorf watchers over here, some folks that just watched us run the doobie. They're having a big water party over there right now. Look at them all gathered out there drinking margaritas in the sand. That's not bad. Quiero margaritas, amigos. Big camp.
That's always questionable on Dubendorf.
Yep. Still got the motor. Look at these ravens checking us out. They watched the run. They were hoping for a dinner out of that. That's what they were hoping for. Or just a bunch of spilled boxes with food everywhere. Those ravens are waiting around below these rapids. They know somebody's going to eat shit one of these days, and they're going to eat well. All right, now Tapete's a 5. And it has a 15-foot drop. There's the canyon. Creek coming out. Dry right now, but we're wet in here in the middle of Tapete's Rapid. Look at that ball of fire up there, 93 million miles away. The narrowest section of the Grand Canyon, right back behind me here. Rob up there tells me it's 76 feet from coast to coast. All right, arriving at camp here at Deer Creek Falls. This is my favorite camps in the canyon, right there, the falls. We're right across from that. Great trail back into the Narrows and up to the patio up there, Thunder Room, the throne room, all that. We're tied up the bow. We got everybody getting off the boat. Now we're gonna go tie up the stern line. We're not gonna put it so tight tonight because I don't want to push this thing off the beach in the morning. Luckily, this is a deep spot. All right, gang, buenos dias. Here at Deer Creek Falls, we camped across the river here at the Deer Creek campground tonight. We just brought the boat across this morning and we're gonna go for a sick hike today. We're headed up to the Patio through Deer Creek Canyon and then up to a place called the Throne Room. This is an epic little hike. It's about 6-ish miles round trip. You get a great view, a nice waterfall up top. The entire thing is absolutely enjoyable. So we're gonna bust out some miles here real quick. We're looking at a short day on the river, just starting out from Deer Creek. We're gonna do this hike and then we're gonna get down, run Upset Rapid today and then stay at Upset Hotel tonight, hopefully, if no one has that camp. Pretty nice trail building up here for this. Look at that stairway, huh? Yeah, that's nice. There she is. Grand Canyon from the top of Deer Creek Falls. There's our camp across the river from last night. And our wee little boat. And my crew. Just coming around the bend right about now. Oh yeah. Our first little stop with a vista on the Deer Creek Falls Trail. How's that approach, Brian?
Better than last year.
It was a little better than last year. You almost made the same mistake. Did you see that?
I did.
Is this a plateau?
Yeah, you can come over and look down on the boat. Be careful though, because from here you go straight to the boat. See that handprint?
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, if you jumped across this spot right here, legend has it that you could put your handprint on that wall. What do you think, Will? You want your handprint on the wall?
Looks like not many people made it.
Not a lot now. All right, friends, and here we're entering one of my favorite spots in all of the Grand Canyon. The Patio, Deer Creek. Right above the Deer Creek Narrows back there. This is some sacred little zone right here, no doubt about it. Just look at that water cascading out from the canyon. Trees and shade. Whew. Yeah, that sure is a lovely sight right now. Look at this tree, this old cottonwood. This thing literally just got destroyed and then refused to quit. All of that is subsequent growth from a massive downfall. I mean, the thing just got broken over. Look at that. It just started growing out of its own destruction. Water obviously gets up to this tree on a regular basis, and it seems to withstand that just fine as well. Nice work, Cottonwood. Make this little watercress crossing here and then up the trail, straight on up to the Throne Room. I'm lost in a maze right now. Here in a thicket of reeds. Just came out of these trees right here. That's where our creek crossing was. Grand Canyon running. Back here, Colorado. There's the Patio down that way. But right now, we're headed up into a little oasis, a little heaven on earth. All right, Brendan, nice work, dude. Brendan and I crushed it out on getting up here. We wanted to get to the shade. And here we are. You can see the waterfall right here. That's gorgeous. Little pools down here, and then the Throne Room right up here where we'll spend some time chilling with the gods of the Grand Canyon. There's my throne. I'm gonna sit down and enjoy. Whew. Oh, and there's the view. Not bad. Got a waterfall, more room for guests, should we get them. Should those guys make it. Here they come. I see them making their way across the sunny terrain right now. Let's go over here. We're gonna fill this camelback with that water over the datura plants. And up this little climb to that water. All right, gang, well, here we are. OMG, we got the throne room right back here. Look, guys, just sitting over there chilling on their thrones. I'm up here filling the camelback with some water. All right, as we get ready to take off here, everybody just dunking their hats in the water before we hit the trail. What do you think of that, Rob? It's a good idea, huh?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, you gotta keep that heat off here because it's hot out here today, and a wet cap on your head makes all the difference. Back down we go. All right, gang, well, after we've completed the mission right there, it's time to get back on the boat. I think we got lunch coming up, and then we're moving forward to go down Canyon. I think we're trying to get to Upset Hotel today, so. All right, 1:30 in the afternoon finds us pulling away from Deer Creek Falls here. Headed downstream. A couple of rocks to watch out for here as we negotiate these waters that are leaving the Deer Creek Falls area. And just like that, we're back into the rapid mix with the Doris Rapid. This is a 4 with a 5-foot drop, and that's a fun one. Downstream toward Upset Rapid. It is so nice in this little corridor, but before us awaits a rapid of most severe consequence, Upset Rapid. All right, rolling in on Upset Rapid right here at mile 150 in the Grand Canyon. This is a serious rapid. It's a level 8 with a 15-foot drop. Couple of options for big runs. You can take the right. It's very tight going down that way with this motor rig. However, we're going to be going along the left wall for a fast, fun, clean run down right down that wall. And then in the middle at the bottom of the rapid, we have this huge hole to contend with. Really don't want to hit that hole. We're hoping we don't have to, but if we do, we're going to just punch right through Upset. Just below here is our accommodation for the night. Upset Hotel, one of my favorites. I'm hoping to get there in one piece. Let's go. Rolling into Upset Rapid right now. Upset. Looks like mine's taking it kind of in the middle right here. Just punch it right down this thing.
the upset rapid right there, friends. And we just kind of crushed right through that hole at the bottom, just like we planned. All right, well, back on the move this morning, departing our lovely accommodations here at the Upset Hotel. Moving downstream after we turn this creature around. Passing another group here as we head down toward Havasu Creek, which is right up in front of us here. You can see that the sunlight up there right above the river water, that is Havasu Creek. We're going down there. These guys out having a good trip. How we doing? Great.
Like you have a good time yourself.
Yeah, you have a nice ride down here.
There, Havasu Creek. This is usually packed with boats, but we're here early today and looks like we're the first ones here. Not a boat in the marina. We're gonna cruise down here. We got a big Western party with 2 boats tied up there, and I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna have for accommodations when we get there. Ryan's gonna try to get us in there and we're gonna tie off to the rocks. All right, we're in the process of tying up here. We've got Western, they've got some good spots right here. We're trying to tie up a little bit behind them. We want to be back about 14 feet, so. Okay. We're gonna tie off again here. All right, gang, well, this is the beginning point here at Havasu Creek, and usually this area below me right here packed with rafts. When we were here last year, there were dories and rafts jammed in way up in here, and people would come in, anchor their boats here, tie their boats off to the rocks. Johnny Zion and I tied off to a rock. Well, I think it was right in here, and we used cams, some climbing cams, to push into the cracks in the rock, and then we used those as anchors. But you can see today, not a soul in sight here, and it's a quiet day down here at Havasu Creek. Hope the kids are having a good hike up here to the falls. I'm just chilling down here with the boat. Decided to come for a little stroll and check out some of the little scenes here while I'm waiting for them. Now, if you're running the Colorado River on a boat through the Grand Canyon National Park and you wanted to check out the Havasu Creek area, you can hike all the way up to Havasu Falls, of course, but you don't have to go that far to get some spectacular scenery. You can just moor your boat back there, just tie your boat off, and then head up a 5-minute walk up this little canyon up the Havasu Creek. Put you in scenes like this, and this continues for miles. I think it's like 6.5 miles up to Beaver Falls. Often there are a lot of people here. Today there's absolutely no one here, but it's a perfect place to just lounge around and enjoy the spectacular scenery down here in the Grand Canyon. All right, well, we're making our way down toward the 164-mile rapid, and just beyond that is Tuckup Camp. Tuckup Canyon shooting off to the north, and we're going to try to score this Tuckup Camp, which is directly below this rapid. And this right here is the Tuckup Canyon to the right. We got a little rapid running around these rocks down here, pushing into that wall to the left. We're going to go in here and scope out this zone for a camp tonight. we're back on the move this morning after a camp there at Tuckup Canyon. Today, a big day on the water. We're hitting the lava falls here at about 10 miles. Coming up on Gateway Rapid here as we make our way downstream. Mile marker 172, and off to the south we have Mohawk Canyon coming into view. That's right at the mouth of Gateway Rapid. In fact, that canyon is what forms Gateway Rapid. Little Gateway action. Woohoo! Big splash at Gateway today. That always feels nice. Alright, right here, my friends, Vulcan's Anvil. And this means we're getting close to Lava Falls. Alright, gang, right behind me here, my nemesis. That's right, Lava Falls. Last year, I took a brief swim, but today, we're gonna shoot this thing, sight unseen, read and run rapid. It's a level 9 rapid here, Grand Canyon National Park. We're gonna head into the mix right about now. Hold on. Lava Falls, baby! Back here, the big one, looks like we're going to curve around that one this year. Still got some issues right here. Cheese grater. Yeah, not the perfect line perhaps, but a line that definitely put us through, and we didn't hit the cheese grater or the big kahuna. A little bit of anticipation right there when you hit that thing sideways. However, Brian knew how to ride it out, and we came right through it today, a little smoother than last year. At this point, I was in epic territory. This year, we're cruising downstream, everybody on the boat, all the gear on the boat, and that's what you want when you come through the lava rapid here, Grand Canyon National Park. That's a level 9. Excellent.
Nothing better than a fisher below lava.
That's right. I'm gonna have to settle for the hazy. Cheers, Captain. Nice work out there.
Cheers, Swamper.
Great. All right, well that's it. We just blasted through Lava Rapid. We're here at Tequila Beach. Nice work, everyone. Woo! Yeah. The crew held onto the boat. Brian brought the boat through the rapid. We spun out, eddied out, back through it. It worked out like a charm. It's nice to be here a year after my cast off from the front of the boat. And this year, I held on. Not too bad. See that, Johnny Zion? That's the way you do it, eh? Yeah, Johnny, you know we'll be back.